Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at the Lada Niva. Hello and welcome back. And if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, car brochures, looking back on cars we all remember, then please do subscribe. It is all completely free. Now recently on Tuesdays we've been doing something called Take Two Tuesdays, where we look at a brochure again, i.e. brochures from over 2 years ago when we were just learning YouTube, now looking at them again. Now we've got better technologies to zoom in on the brochures themselves. This particular episode was indeed first aired on a Tuesdays and is one such episode. We're looking at this, the Lada Niva, little four-wheel drive, very capable actually four-wheel drive of its time. This particular brochure I think is from around about 84, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. And like I said, we've already looked at this once. It didn't really get many views at all because it was certainly in the very early days. I was doing YouTube and I was doing things like look at this brochure. We're now going to throw it on the board. We can zoom in, we can get a better look at some of these details. So let's do that now. So here is today's brochure. What a lovely image on the front. Let's go straight ahead and zoom in on that. And what an amazing machine that this one looks in these very chunky tyres. Now originally when we looked at this brochure we got around about 132 views, so not too many. And hold on a minute, let's just remind me, I'm just looking in my notes how much it actually earned. This particular one earned 28 cents. There it is in my notes. So yeah, a particularly poor video, but like I say, this was the very early days when we probably had under 100 subscribers, so we weren't exactly getting many views. Anyway, back to the brochure itself, I think, and like I say, what a lovely image on this front cover, rock crawling as it were, these wonderful tyres and headlamp wash wipe as well, and for those harsh Soviet winters. I always think with the Niva though, it almost looks like the front is upside down, like with the indicators on top, which is a little bit unusual, but I must say I've always liked the look of these, and I certainly remember lots of them around in the 80s. Let's turn the page though and have a look inside. These particular brochures for the Niva, they're kind of like a fold out style, if you will, with more images in there as well, and we've got sort of like little nice images on here as well. Quite a wordy text. Someone commented actually, why don't you read all of the text? And this is a little bit of a point I'm unsure of. Do people really want me to read every word in a text, therefore making quite a long video, or kind of like picking key points? For this one, let's try and read everything in it and let's see how long the video is. But I apologise for those who don't want all the text. It's just very difficult, pleasing everybody. We'll start up here with the text then, and then we'll look at these rather lovely images. If you're contemplating buying a four-wheel drive vehicle, then you'll already have some pretty firm ideas on what kind of all-round performance you're expecting from it. It goes without saying that it must be tough enough to cope with all the ups and downs that cross its path. Big-hearted enough to fetch and carry heavy loads without complaining, and with pulling power enough to hold trailer, boat or caravan. But although most 4x4s work hard for a living, their lack of refinement doesn't make them particularly easy to live with. Bit of a strange take this, isn't it? Because I can't imagine these being particularly well refined. Anyway, it goes on to tell us, so what's the answer? Cold comfort at a price you can afford, creature comforts at a price, or a Lada Niva. So it's trying to tell us this is both affordable and has got the creature comforts as well. You won't be able to find it in other 4x4s, which is a strange little bit of a context. I can certainly appreciate the typical Lada theme of good price though, that does make sense. Moving down, off-the-road workhorse. The four-wheel drive Lada Niva has all the attributes you would expect of a go-anywhere on-off-road vehicle. Permanent four-wheel drive, which is quite something, very almost like it's kind of like matched very much with the sort of Land Rover Defenders of the time. It goes on to show us good ground clearance, high-low gear range selection and absence of fore and aft overhang help the Niva face all the challenges that come its way. And indeed, these were very capable off-road machines. 1 in 16 gradients are little more than a gentle slopes to the Niva. And then it even goes on to tell us it's quite a good for towing horse boxes, trailers and caravans. I must admit I've never seen one of these towing a horse box, a trailer or a caravan. I'm sure you would have been better if you was doing all that to get the Defender, but like I say, a very capable little off-roader. It then goes on to tell us about the on-road thoroughbred. Undoubtedly the Niva behaves like a workhorse off the road and like a true thoroughbred on it. On the highway, the flexible and reliable 1570cc overhead cam engine delivers a top cruising speed of 81. And the ride's a smooth one thanks to the Niva's independent coil sprung suspension at the front and rear, plus telescopic double acting shock absorbers. Practicality and performance are two of the Niva's most striking features, but they're by no means the only one. The kind of features the Niva boasts as standard will be considered luxury extras in many an expensive saloon. Your driving comfort and convenience are ensured by such thoughtful refinements as reclining front seats with adjustable head restraints, reversing lights, electric wash wipe, headlamp wash wipe, see at a glance instrumentation, strengthened aluminium impact bumpers, a heated rear window and courtesy lights in the glove compartment and rear luggage area. Then it goes on to say swallowing huge 47 cubic foot loads with its rear seats down 17 cubic feet with them in position. So it doesn't sound much today, but certainly at that time some of those features certainly weren't on all vehicles. Certainly like headlamp wash wipe was like seen on more upmarket cars for sure. Lada, a better run for your money. The Lada range of cars is considered to be amongst the best motoring value there is. Hardly surprising considering the care and attention to detail that goes into the making of each and every model. Lada's reputation for strength and reliability comes from the fact that the cars are made from specially strengthened components and have reinforced under chassis, transmission and exhaust. In fact, the Niva actually was, I think, possibly the first mass-produced unibody 4x4. This was a time really, a proper chassis for your four-wheel drive for pretty much every other manufacturer. If you didn't have that, it was seen as a lesser vehicle in sort of like the 4x4 world. If you hit something, your car is a write-off. If you hit something like a Land Rover with a chassis, you got the whole chassis there to protect it. But really, I don't think it was that big an issue. And particularly if you look at SUVs today, they're all unibody constructions, aren't they? But this was certainly a very capable off-road machine. It goes on to tell us all are given underbody anti-corrosion treatment for extra protection, which, along with its high specification and low price, must make the Lada Niva the best value four-wheel drive on the road, or off it. What the papers say. Although we believe the Niva to be a tough, go-anywhere all-rounder, we don't just want you to take our word for it. There's no doubt the best endorsement for any car comes from the unbiased and thoroughly researched findings of the motoring correspondent. So here are just a few of the favourable comments written recently about the Lada Niva. So it says it only has a little 1600 engine, but it has a big heart. We drove it for 1,100 miles in 1 week on motorways, rural roads and through muddy fields. The Niva carried 5 passengers in reasonable comfort. That certainly sounds cramped, and swallowed a huge amount of luggage. Struggling to understand that, but nevertheless it says while still returning a respectable 27 miles per gallon. That was pretty good. I think I had a Land Rover Defender, and no matter what I did with that vehicle, it was always 25 miles per gallon. Of course, they were diesels, of course. You would expect the Russians to be able to build a good off-road vehicle, and they certainly succeeded with the Niva. Autocar Buyer's Guide 1983 said, "The Lada Niva is a great little all-rounder. It's robust, well-equipped, cheap to buy, and it's true 4x4 cross-country vehicle. It's got a pretty good reputation too. A competition version with a 2-litre engine won the recent Rally de Pharaohs in Egypt. Darlington Evening Dispatch. Need we say more?" Okay, and here's all the little levers you get. Of course, this is a permanent 4-wheel drive, so none of them are like changing it from 2 to 4-wheel drive. So we've got obviously the normal gear lever, and then I'm assuming one of them is for high-low transfer. And does it have a locking differential? Maybe the next one is for that. There is that sort of estate car capacity there with the seats folded back. The little engine and engine bay, and they've managed to snug the little spur wheel in there as well. There is the front end with that sort of wash wipe system, and if you kind of look at the wipers on the lights there, quite a clever but very simple system at being like a curved light obviously, but that wiper curves around all the lights. It's quite like a nice little simple way of doing it. And I just move the camera down and notice there is a little description for each of those pictures. So that top one certainly is a high-low gear selector, and with the ability to have that differential lock, certainly mean a fantastic off-road machine. Wonder how these manage compared to the Defenders, because it certainly seems to be equipped to do the same sort of thing. Above right, load space, and talking about that 1570cc engine, telling us it gives a top speed of over 80, and then that headlamp wash wipe system, and it's also showing the aluminium bumpers. And then we fold the brush out fully, and we've got some really rather lovely images of the Niva. At the bottom here though, there's sort of like lots of little quotes from various different publications. Let's just look at those first, then we'll come to these images. It starts with a very weird one. It says, "All-round strength" from the publication. "What's new in building?" That's a very peculiar one to pick. Moving along. "No nonsense off-road ability" from Motor. "Big-hearted" from the Daily Mirror. "Popular priced and very capable little all-rounder" from Overlander. And "Car-like driving ease" from Motor. And then we get to those images. This very unusual one in yellow. I don't think I've ever seen a Lada Niva in the UK in yellow, but actually it really suits it, and I think that's the one I would have picked actually. But they've all kind of got these sort of like outdoorsy farming scenes. And in this environment, I think this little car makes a lot of sense, because it would have been way cheaper to buy than a Defender, of course. Moving along, we got this very unusual setup. I've never seen this before, with these sort of like twin driving lines, but fording across a stream here. Unusual little bit of a setup. Unusual to see that in a dealer's brochure, almost like saying they've got the lights to do that if you wanted, maybe. Moving along, we get the first image of the rear of this car. Quite a chunky, strong looking car, and I think they were a pretty rugged vehicle actually. I think the only sort of negative from that sort of point of view, I always saw them with rust on them, so I don't think they was that good at resisting rust. All the ones I saw were full of rust. Moving along, and one in red in some kind of like construction team, and this one playing around in the sand on some kind of like quarry or something, I'm not sure. But I think this was the most common one though. I think pretty much every single one I'm going to say was in white. They always seem to be in white, the ones I saw. Anyway, then we fold the brochure all the way back together. We've got some small print which we'll have a look at, I think, and then some quite interesting little images and graphics, and also some specification. But let's see what the writing says first. Lada care for you and your Niva. As a Niva owner, you can be sure of service that's second to none from your Lada dealer. Unlike some four-wheel drive vehicles for which servicing and the availability of parts can present difficulties, the Niva enjoys the full backup facility of Lada Cars, which offers a fast, efficient service with parts prices that are amongst the most competitive in the trade. The National Parts Centre at Lada's UK headquarters in Carnaby House, over 2 million worth of parts in an atmospherically controlled 80,000 square foot warehouse complex, a computerised ordering and selection system, plus a prompt delivery service ensures that customers are not kept waiting for repairs. This kind of investment illustrates Lada's commitment and the resources that are available to Lada dealers in Britain, which means that you, as a Niva owner, can enjoy a professionally thorough and speedy after-sales service. It then rather interestingly talks about sort of like accessories, so give your Niva the personal touch. You can personalise your Niva with a range of specially designed, guaranteed Lada Care accessories and parts. Some are exclusive to the Niva, like the practical additions of a power winch or front and rear bull bars, or extras such as steel road wheels, driving lamps, carpeting, luggage mats and side striping, whilst many of the other accessories in the versatile and comprehensive Lada Care range are ideally suited to enhance the comfort, convenience and appearance of your Niva. Genuine Lada Care accessories are available from your Lada Niva dealer. Ask for the free new accessories brochure. Sadly, I don't have that because it does sound very interesting. Then starts talking about Lada Cover, special insurance scheme for Niva owners. And then we do get a rather nice little image of one of these sort of like accessories, I guess, to really personalise your Lada Niva. And actually, I think it looks quite nice, actually, that striping and the little Niva name in the door there. Never seen one with that on, but I do quite like it. It then continues talking about insurance, and if anyone's interested in there, it says the Niva has a low Group 2 insurance rating rather than the usual Group 4 rating. So in the UK, obviously the higher that number, the more you pay in insurance. Group 2 was very cheap, so I can see why they're showing that here. Performance isn't a strong point, but then if you compare it with things like a Land Rover Defender, neither was a Land Rover Defender because it's not that, wasn't aimed at that, but I guess we are having a chassis. May have felt not too bad, but 0 to 60 in 23 seconds is going to feel slow. Maximum speed is 81. We've got a 4-cylinder 1570cc engine there. And then moving down, it's got 78 bhp at 5400 revs. The rest is really all dimensions and weights by the looks of it. Telling us major service every 6,000 miles. Insurance group 2 under Lada cover, where normally under any other insurance it would have been Group 4. Warranty, we've got a 12-month unlimited mileage warranty. Seats capacity 4 to 5. Towing capacity 19. And then we've got some other nice images, haven't we? This rather fabulous truck with the Lada Care graphics on the side. Doesn't that look amazing? Lada Care for you and your Lada. And then finally, this would have been where all your Lada parts came from. And then just finally, let's just move to the bottom of the brochure. And at the bottom here, Lada Niva 4-wheel drive, the best value on the road or off it. And then a little address there for Lada Cars. Lada Cars. Carnaby Industrial Estate in Humberside. No date on it, but I'm thinking this is like 84, 85, somewhere around there. So there we got the little Lada Niva. Do you remember these? Did you own one? Please do share your experiences in the comments below. I always love reading of those. And even if you didn't know anyone who had them, what did you think of them at the time? Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's episode for Take Two Tuesday. I'll include at the end the little bit of a link to the original version of this particular brochure. Let me know how it's improved. I know on them early ones we did give more sort of like details, but I think overall it works better like this. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end, as we always do, by thanking you for watching today's episode of Quarterlight, this very tiny little YouTube channel. So I'm not sure how you found us, but here we are, a tiny little channel, growing slowly, although I don't think we're ever going to be like world famous, but I'm certainly glad that you found us. And if you have, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. You can also become a member for a very small fee. I will have to say though that we're not really offering too much to membership at the moment because our membership numbers are tiny little numbers. So it wouldn't really be worth me making sort of like extra videos for members, but certainly when we get more members we will add little extra clippets, extra little scenes, maybe behind the scene views, I don't know, but we'll work that out as we get it big. But like I say, you can become a member if you want to, and it's only a very low fee. Appreciate those who have become a member, it's very much appreciated. We'll end with a couple of boxes. One will be for the original brochure, one will be some other video you may not have seen yet, but I'll end by saying thank you for watching. Please do take care. We'll see you soon, and goodbye.